As a child, we all long for a hero. As a society as a whole, we search for that leader that can be our hero. But as we mature and as we grow, it dawned on us that the hero is inside every one of us. And in the world's social media, we all start at zero. And slowly we search deep within ourselves to find who we are. And we have that moment of truth where we embrace that the hero that we've been searching for has been there all along. It is living deep inside of every one of us. And we start embracing that journey and we become that hero that we search for.
Hey everybody, good afternoon and welcome to episode 46 of Zero to Hero. We are coming at you with a special edition episode today. For those who haven't seen anything about it on Facebook or heard about it, there is an awesome event going on this weekend, the 17th through the 19th in St. Louis. It's called Becoming the Best You. You can get tickets over at comechangeyourlife.com. We've got one of the speakers here and the COO, of Becoming the Best You. We've got Terrance Leftridge. So let's go ahead and bring him in. Terrance, how you doing, sir?
Hey, it's an unstoppable day, Gino. Thank you for letting me spend some time on your show today talking about BTBY.
Oh, my pleasure, man. My pleasure. And what a great intro there, right? That's fantastic. So, Terrance, talk a little bit about what's going on this weekend, man, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the show. What's happening in St. Louis?
So it is the premier personal professional development event of the year, Gino. It's called BTBY, otherwise known as Becoming the Best You. If this has been a struggle in your life, if you've been stuck where you are in your life, if you have been struggling with relationships, with your career, with just becoming the best version of yourself, then St. Louis is the place that you need to be this week, because we're going to have over 35 speakers, professionals, thought leaders doing 16 different breakout training groups talking about different topics, all related to becoming the best you, so that you can experience what life can be like if you decide that today is the day that you are going to become the best version of you. So we've got 3 days of power-packed seminars, breakout groups, entertainment, food for your mind, body, and soul. So all that's missing is for you to have your face in the place. And like Gino said, you can come visit us at comechangeyourlife.com and register to be with us in person in St. Louis, or to watch us virtual from the comfort of your own home.
That's so awesome. And one of the cool things that I love about your guys' movement, Terrance, with BTBY is it's not, be better than everybody else, right?
Yes.
It's becoming the best version of yourself, right? So you're not going to compete with, Bill Gates out there, right? Or your Zuckerbergs, right? It's becoming the best Terrance, becoming the best Gino, becoming the best you, right?
Absolutely. And, because the best Gino could be far better than the average Bill Gates. So when you compare yourself to other people, then you put limits on who you can possibly be. The only person that you have to compete with, Gino, is the man or the woman, for who is ever's watching us live or in the replay, that you see in the mirror each morning. We live by a mantra, which is actually a famous quote. It says, good, better, best. We can't let it rest until our good becomes our better and our better becomes our best, which means each and every day, each and every moment, you have the opportunity to go from good to better to the best version of you, and then start all over again.
That's so good. That's so good. So with all that being said, Terrance, let's go ahead and get into it. Who is Terrance Leftridge? Tell us a little bit about you.
Terrance Leftridge is a older man now from the south side of Chicago who has gone through many different things in his life. I'm a husband. I am an author. I am a accountability coach with Unstoppable Coaching Services. I'm a writer. I've helped people create their own books, and I'm a host of a couple of different internet broadcast shows where we help people focus more on what they're able to do and less on what's stopping you. But most importantly, Gino, I may have created all those things I just mentioned, but I'm a person that's still working towards becoming the best version of myself as well. So what we're doing this week really resonates with me on my personal journey to becoming the best version of myself.
Absolutely, and that journey never really stops, does it, Terrence? I mean, that's something that's it's an ongoing 1% better every day kind of mindset, right?
Yeah, if it stops, that means someone's writing your epitaph as we speak. So I would like to say, as long as you have breath in your body, you have the opportunity to continue to become a better version of yourself. So that's what we embrace here at BTBY.
100%. You nailed that right on the head. So tell us a little bit about Unstoppable Coaching. What are you doing with that?
Well, Unstoppable Coaching came out of a defining moment in my life that led to an unstoppable decision, Gino. Back in 2008, when the rest of the world was crashing during the financial crisis, I got the three words that no individual ever wants to hear. And they were, "You are fired."
Mm,
I got fired from what I call my good government job, that job that paid for my house, that job that paid for my cars, that job that paid for my wedding ceremony, that job that paid for everything that we were told up to that point that was the American dream. And so I had to have to face the reality of that. I no longer had that to lean on, and it became a defining moment, Gino, because I had to decide now what's next. I had to decide whether I was going to get to that proverbial fork in the road and go back to doing what I'd been doing over and over and over again up to that point, or if I was going to go in a different direction. And I had a conversation with God. You call him whatever you call him, no judgment zone here. But I had a conversation. Well, I'm lying, Gino. I had an argument with him one night in the middle of my backyard of the house that was paid for by that good government job. And I said to him, "You need to change my situation because this is not where I want to be." And he gave me one word, Gino. You want to know what that word was?
please.
Unstoppable.
Mm,
And it really becomes three words in one when you think about it, because when you think about the UN, the un in unstoppable, that usually stands for the things that we don't have. That stands for the no's in our lives. That stands for the nots in our lives, the things and the people that have said no to us, the things that we do not have, the things we cannot achieve, the places we have not been, all of those things that we've had that no given to us in our past or in our present that leads us to that second word in unstoppable, the proverbial hexagon with the red and white letters called stop. And that's where we find ourselves when we don't have any focus. We find ourselves stuck in a rut, stuck in the mud, stagnant, not being able to go anywhere. But at Unstoppable Coaching Services, we focus on that last word in unstoppable, the ABLE, be able. What are you able to do, even though you may be stuck in a rut? What are you able to do, even though someone may have said no, or there's something that you have not gotten yet? What are you able to do in spite of the circumstances that are in your life? If you can focus on the things that you're able to do, then you can climb out of that mud. You can find yourself unstuck from the rut. You can move past the nose and you can move into getting the things that you may not have right now, because now you're focusing more on the abilities that are going to get you to the things that you want to have and the places you want to go and the things you want to do. So, like we said, when you focus more on what you're able to do and less on those things that are stopping you, that's when you become unstoppable. And that's what we coach people on how to do, how to change the focus, how to change the mindset, how to shift your mind into a direction of positivity instead of that direction of negativity that we all so often find ourselves easily able to live in.
That's so powerful, and I think it is, a rut that a lot of people get into, right? Of man, all these bad things are happening, right? What's the next right move, right? The next right
Right.
thing. I think that's a Frozen song. I got two kids, right? So I'm into Disney movies, man. So yeah, but it's true, right? I heard that song and I was like, that's such a good point, and it's such a
Yeah.
good thing to start teaching our kids really from a young age, right? It's just
Yeah.
next right thing, right? Put the foot
Absolutely.
forward and take the step.
Yeah, and we live in a society where misery loves company. So misery, all the negativity, all the bad things that are happening in the world, they get top billing, they get center stage. But very rarely do you find those stories of people overcoming obstacles or people focusing on their abilities, not their disabilities. And that's not even physical. That's right there in the mind. We get disabled by all the negativity. It shuts off our creativity. It shuts off our ability to look for something more, to look for something greater, because we get so laser focused and shut into those things that are negative. So being able to teach even from a young age that you have opportunities. You can turn obstacles into opportunities. You can look at the glass half full or half empty. It's up to you. It's your choice. But when you start thinking about, well, what can I do? What am I able to do? Even though this circumstance is in my way, that opens up the mind to creativity, and that opens up your spirit to do even more than you thought you were able to do.
Yep, you nailed it. Absolutely. And it kind of leads into our next point, right? So I want to ask you about your social media journey personally, and then obviously with Unstoppable Coaching as well. And the reason I say it leads into the next point so well is, the positivity is out there,
Yeah.
right? But you're gonna find what you're looking for, right? So if you're
Yes.
looking for that negativity, you can
Yes.
find it, right? You're
Yes.
looking for the
Yes.
positivity and the good stories, you'll find. But tell us about your social media journey. What's it been like for you?
Oh, and when you talk about the social media journey, there was a time where I thought that was an unstoppable journey, because I had no idea about this thing called social media. I was late to the party. I was still doing dial-up with AOL while people had moved on to Wi-Fi and high-speed internet. So I had to catch up with it. But luckily, I've always been a people person. I've always been someone who's been able to engage people and reach out to people. And so my social media journey started with internet radio, as a matter of fact. I used to listen to these different internet radio shows, and I got really hooked into them. And I would comment in the comment sections. I'd send them instant messages on their shows, and they invited me to be on their show. And so now I'm guest hosting internet shows. And some of those shows, there were authors on there, and there was writing books. And I was like, I never thought anybody would want to hear my story, but somebody encouraged me after telling bits of my story that was a story about not just me, but a lot of people. And so I ended up writing a book. And from writing a book, I ended up getting my own internet radio show on Blog Talk Radio. And Blog Talk Radio, of course, was connected to different social media, Facebook and Pinterest at the time, and a couple other social media networks. So I started promoting on social media. So everything just kind of built itself onto each other, where now you can find Unstoppable Coaching on any platform that's out there. You can also, I'm even on TikTok. Wow. And you can Google me, and you can find all of my social media shows, from my Unstoppable Story show, where we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories, to the latest show that I've been on with the E360 TV network called Financial Freedom, helping you not to not necessarily increase your finances, but to really recognize what it means to be financially free and independent. So that journey has helped me personally. It's been allowing me to connect with family all across the country and all across the globe. But it's also, especially in this pandemic, Gino, I find that I have made more relationships through social media and this thing called the internet than I was when I was doing in person, because there's only one me, and I can only be in one place at one time. But with the internet and with social media, you can be millions of places at one time. And that exponentially increases your exposure, increases your impact, and increases your influence. So I love social media.
That's so awesome, and you're obviously really living your coaching there, right? As somebody that didn't really have experience in it, it could be unstoppable for a lot of people, and it does
Absolutely.
stop a lot of people from doing it because of that uncomfortability factor, right? They don't know how to do it, this and that, but just to go out there and do it, guys, it helps, right? I'm sure it's helped with gaining some clients for Unstoppable Coaching as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the one thing I see with people in the social media journey is the ability to get started. You feel like you have to know. I'm going to age myself, but you feel like you have to know COBOL and Fortran coding in order to do this thing called social media. And that's what we talk about: obstacles and the opportunities. Well, what are you able to do to not have to deal with the actual coding and not have to deal with the actual nuts and bolts of creating social media, but still be able to make an impact? Well, you meet people like Gino, you meet other IT specialists, you meet other people that know how to do the behind the scenes things, and you let them focus on what they do best, and then you can focus on the rest. And that's what I did. When I didn't know how to do one of the social medias, I connected with somebody who did. I opened up my mouth and I asked for help. And that's how you overcome some of the obstacles that you have in your life, no matter what it is. You just have to simply ask for help from somebody who can help you get over those obstacles.
Absolutely. It's a good point. Yeah, and that's a hard lesson that I had to learn too, right? Open my mouth and asking for help because we live with a certain sort of pride, right? And I think a lot
Yeah,
of people are don't want to give that up, or they think that nobody's willing to help, but it's not true, guys. Get out there and open your mouth. There are people that are willing to help you for sure. So I appreciate you
absolutely.
saying that, Terrance. Now, Terrance, every superhero has a defining moment. What do you think yours is when it comes to not only your career but your life as well?
I'll go back to the defining moment that I talked about earlier when I lost my job. I thought I was at the lowest point of my life, but in retrospect, that was the highest point because it took off the shackles. You see, I got fired from that good government job, Gino, but I had fired myself from that job a long time before then. The only thing that kept me there was the FEAR, the fear, which we all know now is false evidence appearing as real. See, I feared if I walked away from that job on my own that I wouldn't have any fallback. What I had to find out is that I had to have it taken away from me to find out that my superpower actually was in this thing called coaching. But I would have never pursued this thing called coaching if I still had the shackles of that job around my feet. So many times we don't learn what our superpower is until our backs are against the wall, until adversity is at its highest, until we get sick and tired of being sick and tired of where we are. And that's what happened. The rug was pulled from under me. The lights were turned off, and I had to go to another place. The walls had been closed in so much that there was only that exit door, that door that I'd been afraid to walk through on my own for many, many, many years. The walls closed in, and that was the only way out. And I found out on the other side was my purpose and was what I'm doing right now. So sometimes adversity is your superpower. Sometimes that obstacle which you are afraid to face is where you'll find that diamond in the rough that's going to allow you to shine the way you were intended to shine.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, it's I heard a saying a long time ago, and I think it relates perfectly to this and your defining moment, which is, if nothing changes, then nothing changes,
Absolutely.
right? In
Absolutely.
order to create that change, we've got to have some kind of spark, right? And for
Yeah.
you, it was, hey, you're fired in the midst of an economic collapse,
Yeah.
right? What are
You
you
know,
gonna do,
yeah.
Terrance? Right?
Yeah. A diamond will always remain a piece of coal until it's put under pressure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now we kind of talked about it a little bit, but to you, what attributes do you feel defines a hero?
The I think integrity above all, because sometimes when you become a superhero, you can get lost in your own sauce, meaning you can start believing your own hype, and then you lose that integrity, which is part of what makes you walk in your purpose and be the person you were created to be. So definitely integrity, and to be what we call servant leaders. Anytime you see a superhero on TV or in the movies, the one thing that they're becoming a superhero for is because they're serving somebody else. They are helping somebody else. They are protecting somebody else. It's that level of service that takes you from just the average Joe to the superhero that the world needs. And I think those having that integrity, but also having that ideal of that you're not just doing it for you, you're not just doing it for the glory, but you're doing it to help others. That's an attribute of a superhero.
Selflessness. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if you had to pick a superhero that best relates to you, who would that be and why?
Oh, wow. I think, the person, for anyone out there I am a Marvel fan. I'm a Marvel junkie. DC, not so much. So if I had to pick a Marvel character, I'd have to pick Hawkeye, because Hawkeye wasn't born with superhuman strength. He wasn't given a serum to give him extra abilities. All he had was his keen eye and his sense of duty and a couple of bows and arrows. Kind of like the David versus Goliath story. Didn't have a lot on him, but what he had in him was greater than what he had on him. Someone's going to get that when they watch the replay. So I think having a strong desire, a strong will, a strong determination inside will help you utilize the things on the outside to get the job done that you need to get done. I tell people a tool is only as good as the person who holds it. If you put a hammer in my hand, then you're going to have some holes in your wall because I can't hit a lick straight. But if you put a hammer in the hand of a master carpenter, you'll have a mansion. Why? Because that master carpenter knows how to use that tool. My tool is not the hammer. My tool is my head, my brain, and my heart. And that, nobody can beat me in the heart department.
I love it. I love it. Hawkeye's that's an original one. I don't think anybody said Hawkeye yet. I hear Batman a lot when they want to avoid the powers, right? That's
Uh,
one that comes out. That Hawkeye. That's a good answer, man.
yeah.
So, how can people keep up with you, Terrance? How can they connect with you? How can they find you on social media? What? Go ahead and tag all your platforms.
Well, the easiest way to connect with me is to come and see me in St. Louis this weekend at the Becoming the Best You conference. Go on over and register right now to www.comechangeyourlife.com, and we'll want to have your face in the place. But if by chance St. Louis isn't in your budget or not on your schedule, you can connect with me at my website. Go on over to www.unstoppablecoaching.com. Unstoppablecoaching.com, where we help you focus more on what you're able to do and less on what's stopping you. Let's set up a complimentary call. Let's talk about where you are trying to go on your journey towards becoming unstoppable. And let's see if it's a good fit for us to partner together to help make that happen.
Absolutely, guys. So yeah, obviously becoming the best you week. Head over to comechangeyourlife.com. Meet Terrance in person. If you've got some time this weekend, you can get out to St. Louis. Tickets are still available there. If you're not able to get out there, get on there, get that virtual ticket. It's $45, right, Terrance?
Yeah, as little as
Virtual
$45. You're probably going to pay more on one dinner over the course of that weekend, where it's going to feed your stomach. But for that $45, we're going to feed your mind, your body, and your soul, so that you can start that journey towards becoming the best version of you.
Absolutely. And guys, 35 speakers, $45. The math makes perfect sense. Okay, you're going to get a
Absolutely.
lot of knowledge out of that. So, Terrance, my man, thank you for coming on the show. Have a safe flight out there to St. Louis. All right. And
Yes.
go kill it this weekend, man. Enjoy.
Hey, Gino, thank you so much for allowing me to be on the show. And as I leave, let me tell you guys this. This is how I like to always end things. No matter where you are in the world today, don't just make it a great day. Work on becoming the best version of you, and you can't help but to make it an unstoppable day. Thanks, Gino.
Hey, thank you. I love it. We'll end it there. Y'all have a good one.